G'day guys and welcome back to another episode on the podcast. Today we're going on to the self-development route for this episode. So I actually came about the other weekend. I went out into the city, and as I was going home I was talking to a few of my mates, and they just brought up the podcast, and she said, I'll happily listen to it a couple episodes, but only if it relates to me. And I was like, oh well, what is it that you're interested in at the moment? She's like, oh well, I'm on my health grind, trying to better myself. And I was like, fuck, how have I not made an episode about this yet? I haven't done a self-development episode properly dedicated just self-development as a whole topic. So that really just struck me to make this episode today. So a lot of things go into self-development. There's a huge variety of different things that you can go into and get all specific about, and go into all the micro information that requires you to, improve yourself. But I just want to go over the dead basics of what I wish I knew about to improve. So I'm basically just giving you guys as much information as I can on what I wish I knew when I started, when I was 15 and I was trying to better myself just by, if it was cleaning up my diet or training better. And I wish I knew more about the mental and social side of it, because I now know your mental and social attitude towards things is basically the stepping stones to improve all the other different minute things in your life to make it all better. But yeah, we'll get into that later in the episode. But to start off with, when you, go into self-development, the two biggest things that you think about are your diet, so your nutrition, and also your training, so your exercise regime. So firstly with your diet, I think we all know that when we eat well, we feel way better. And that is why ultimately, to improve your overall well-being and skyrocket your self-development, you need to improve your diet. And this is literally the key to improving your health, both physically and mentally, in terms of your well-being. And it's literally 70% of what goes in to helping you lose weight. A lot of people, when they go into self-development, the first thing they look to do is lose weight or get fitter or look better. And so they go into doing a strict diet. And so most people online, they go to the extreme and they tell you to be strict and only eat whole foods, never have a coffee an hour and a half after you wake up, or no processed sugar and no lollies and no sweet treats, only strictly fruit and meat and anything that you can pick off a tree, dig from the ground, or kill and eat, for your meat and your proteins. But let's be honest, no one sticks to that. Before, when I was researching and doing scripting for this episode, I was looking at some statistics on people who start strict diets and how long it usually lasts them. And Google's trying to tell me that it's 95% of people within 3 months go back and relapse in their diet. But I think it's a lesser percentage, but a shorter time frame. I reckon within a month of people doing a strict diet, 80% of people either cheat on their diet or they just completely relapse and just give up because it's too hard for them to stick to, because it's way too strict. And so what I aim to do and what I aim to teach you guys during the day is eat whole foods during the day, and then after lunch have a little nice snack. What I do is, for the whole day, most days for the entire day, I'll eat whole foods, eat really clean, and then after dinner I'll have a couple chocolates with a tea, or I'll have a snack after lunch. I'll have a yogurt, and then I'll also have a little bit of chocolate or a little lolly, something like that. It's just mentally it's way easier to stick to than going full strict onto a diet. So when you're dieting, I think the first major thing, except for controlling your calories, is prioritizing your protein intake. So the best way to transform your body and your whole aesthetic and looks of your body is just by increasing your protein intake. There's a saying micronutrients micronutrients determine how you feel, and macronutrients determine how you look. So when you increase your protein intake, it will actually help you take fat off your body. This is because the thermic effect, or how many calories your body burns to digest a certain macronutrient for protein, is the highest out of the three. So you have fats, you have your carbs, and you have your protein. Those are your three major macronutrients. And so carbs is like the lowest, fat is the second highest, and protein is the highest. So when you eat more protein, your body has to burn more calories to digest it. That adds more calories burnt daily onto like your daily calorie, I guess, burns per day, how many calories you burn per day. And then that puts you in a further deficit than what you usually would be doing. So if you ate, let's say you ate 2,500 calories and you had like 150 grams of protein, which is still a good amount. That's like very, very reasonable. That's a good amount of protein to have per day. But then if you increase it to like 180, 190, or even 200, it can be hard to hit, but if you do that, it'll increase your calories burnt per day by just that little bit more. And it'll put you into a further deficit. It'll help lose weight quicker, and it'll help strip fat off your body quicker because you're eating less calories. And then the easiest way to like add protein throughout the day is, one, either just adding a little bit more protein into each meal than what you usually would. So like for breakfast, if you usually have like 3-4 eggs, instead have like 2 or 3 eggs, and then add in like 100 grams of egg whites. Because egg whites, if I'm not mistaken, they are the highest protein to calorie. They have the best protein to calorie ratio for whole foods. So there's basically 0 fat, 0 carbs in egg whites, and it's just protein. And so if you add that in, it's like another like 50 calories or 40 calories, and you add in like another 15 to 20 grams of protein, something like that. And so yeah, like 10 grams of protein or 15 grams of protein added onto your meal. Or what you could do is, what I do is I add like one of those little Chobani or like those YoPro yogurts into every single meal that I have. Over the course of the day, if you have a YoPro with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or you have it like breakfast, you have your lunch, then you have your snack being a yogurt, and then after dinner you have another yogurt, 2 or 3 of those a day, it will add on between like 30 and 55 grams of protein per day for you, depending which one you get. There's like 15 grams of protein yogurts per thing, and there's 20 gram protein ones. And so not only that, but protein keeps you full for longer. Because it takes so long to digest, it will make you feel full for longer. So it has a very high satiety level. So feeling satiated means you feel full. I guess the next easiest tip for you to do is just increase the volume of your meals. So the best way, I guess, for you to stop over-consuming your calories is by literally having larger meals. This doesn't mean they have to be higher calorie. The best foods for you to do this are like your high fiber foods or like your very water dense foods. So this can be your fruits and veggies in most cases. So your veggies will be very high in fiber. Fiber aids in your digestion, so it'll slow down how quickly you become hungry again. And then your high water content foods, it literally just fills up your stomach. So if you have like 300 grams of watermelon, I think that's under 100 calories, something around that. And because it's filling up your stomach so much, you have to still digest all of that. And it'll take your body a longer time, and you'll feel much fuller for much longer when you do that. So if you have fruit as your snacks, if you find yourself hungry throughout the day, have like a whole get your parents to buy a whole watermelon or a whole cantaloupe or some other like really high water content food to help you feel fuller for longer. As well, you could also just add in a few servings of broccoli, or if you're having just like beef mince and rice, add in like a shitload of shredded lettuce and add in like a sugar-free savory sauce, like sweet and sour sauce into your meal. It'll make it taste better, and because there's so much volume in your food, it'll take more bites, it'll take you longer to eat, and when you take longer to eat, your body actually digests it more because you're not scoffing all of it down straight away. So you get so many more bites. It takes you longer to eat your food. The food will finally be in your stomach, ready for your body to digest, and it'll take you way longer to finish your meal. And when you do that, your body will be digesting, and then you won't feel the need to snack afterwards. So I reckon the best kind of like diet guideline for me that I think everyone should use if you're getting into dieting is using the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your foods should be coming from like nutrient dense whole foods, for you to get your micro and macronutrients in. And then 20% of it, just eat whatever the fuck you want. Like I said, when I usually have whole foods throughout the entire day and then I snack after dinner, that's like my 20%. So 20% of my calories are coming from sweet treats and like whatever the fuck I want. And then 80% of it is like just normal whole foods, like stuff that really nourishes my body and makes me feel good. And the last type of dieting hack, I guess you could call it, that I used to use a lot, I used it during school because it was handy and it was practical for me to do, was just push back your meals like half an hour or even an hour further back in the day than what you usually would. It's also known as like intermittent fasting. So it's when you have like a big window in between your meals or when you don't eat. So one of my really good mates, he's starting to try and eat a lot healthier. And so he knows his experience trying different diets, but the best thing that works for him is just having 2 meals a day. So he won't eat breakfast and he'll wait till like 12 or 1 in the arvo where he'll have his first really big meal. So he'll have a meal of like 1,000 calories, which is a fair amount, and he'll have a very high volume meal. So he'll fill him up. He'll go through training later in the day, and then he comes home and he has another big meal, another 1,000 calorie meal, and that puts him at 2,000 calories for the day. He's still in a huge deficit and he's exercising as well for that day, and it puts him in the calorie deficit. He loses weight and it works for him. So this is like a guide. So you can experience and you can experiment with whatever diet works for you. I think that 80-20 or intermittent fasting is like the best way personally, because this is what I've done. With intermittent fasting, I'd wake up for school, go to school, I'd have my meal prep Wheat Bix and yogurt later in the day, and I would eat that at lunch. So I would skip recess or snack, which is at like 10:30ish, and then I'd wait till 12:30 where I'd have my lunch. I'd have my Wheat Bix and I'd have my lunch, and that'd fill me up for the rest of the day. I'd get home, not be hungry, and then I'd have dinner. And that would put me at a really steep deficit. So after dinner, I would have consumed maybe 1,100 calories. So I still have like another 800 or 1,000 to play with. And I could just have that after dinner and I'll be full by about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And then I'll just have a great sleep and do the whole thing all over again. And so that's what just worked for me. So if you guys want to do that, I'll list it off again. Best dieting hacks would be the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your calories coming from nutrient-dense whole foods and 20% coming from whatever sweet treats you feel like, or intermittent fasting. I think that those are the best two to choose from. Nextly, exercise. So now that we know 70% of, I guess, the work that goes into losing weight, feeling better, becoming overall a healthier person, this is like the other, I guess, 15-20% that's required, and that's your exercise. So the best things that people can do in terms of their exercise is strength training, or like going to the gym, running or doing some sort of cardio, and walking. Walking, for me, I think is genuinely the best form of exercise, without a doubt, because literally everyone can do it, unless you don't have legs or you're disabled. Sorry, but I personally think like those are the best forms of exercise for people to use, because when you walk, one, you get the mental clarity from it, but two, it's also like the easiest thing to do. Like you can apply it to so many things during your day. When you go to the gym, I think you should go to the gym in the aim to build muscle and get strong. This is for all people. And when you run, it should just be for some form of, when you run, it should be just for some sort of cardiovascular fitness, because that will help you. Strength training and cardiovascular fitness will literally extend your life expectancy by so much. And your running doesn't strictly have to just be running. That's why I say like cardio, because like you can do CrossFit, you can do HIIT workouts, you can do team-based sports are really good for running and really good for cardiovascular fitness. Or you can even like do track and field like based exercises. And then yeah, like lastly, I think walking is literally something that everyone should be doing no matter what. Like the cafe that's usually 5 minutes away for you to drive to, just walk there instead with someone. Or if you have a pet, walk them during the day or first thing in the morning. If you're bored and you notice yourself doom scrolling on your phone for like an hour, just get up and just go outside and walk for 5 minutes. Like literally just walk up and down your street and you'll feel so much better. Like I love the saying like trying to think your way out of overthinking is like trying to sniff your way out of a cocaine addiction. Like it just doesn't work, right? And so a lot of the time we find ourselves like stuck in a rut and constantly thinking about something that might be on your mind. Like you have some sort of burden, something that you don't want to do. Like you have some task that you have to get done, or you have just some sort of situation, like some friendship that's falling apart that's been on your mind for a while. Walking will provide you with like this relief from any sort of mental burden that you might have. If there's something that you're working on that you literally can't start for 30 or 40 minutes, just take a walk. Like walking will give you this kind of indescribable mental clarity that makes life so much more enjoyable. When you go for a walk, don't take your phone with you. Don't listen to anything. Just be present. Listen to the things around you. Listen to the birds chirping. Listen to the wind. Even if it's raining, listen to the rain hitting on your raincoat or your umbrella. Like it's honestly, it sounds like the biggest seed, honestly, when I say it out loud, but it is the best feeling when you go for a walk and you're not distracted by anything and you're just so present in the moment. And then you get back home and you're like, fuck, I'm so happy I went for that walk. I feel amazing now. And now your mind's not fixated on your phone and you're not distracted and you have that mental clarity and you can finally start that task, or you can finally call that person that you're worried about with your friendship falling apart and you can discuss it with them. Or you can just decrease some of the stress that you're overthinking about on that task that you have to do. When I was studying in year 12, I would literally walk so much. I would take my dog on walks like 3 times a day, and then I'd walk by myself like an extra time or twice more. I would go for like 3 or 5 walks per day. So I would study for 30 minutes or an hour, and then I'll take like a 15-minute walk or 20-minute walk, and I'll do that 3 to 4 times when I'm studying. It helped me like retain information, and it boosted my memory, like my short-term memory, so much, because when I go out on the walk, I'd either be listening to the things around me or I would be thinking about the work that I've just been doing. It helped me retain my memory and absorb my information just so much better. And not only that, but it's also so helpful for you losing body fat. Like I said before, a lot of the people that go on to these self-development journeys, they go into it trying to better their health for the most part. And walking is the easiest form of cardio that you will ever do in your entire life, because it requires so little strain on your body. Whereas when you run, when your legs are hitting the ground, there's so much force and impact going through your legs. It's so much easier to get sore and injured and then be unmotivated and be working off pure discipline the entire time. Whereas when you walk and you can't be fucked walking, you're like, really, can I not be fucked walking? Like there's people that can't walk and I'm taking this for granted, where I can have the mental clarity that comes from this straight away within like literally 10 seconds or 10 minutes. Next, and I think this is like the most difficult kind of idea and journey that people have to go on when they go through self-development, and that's like your social group and your social situations. So this is like easily one of the most difficult for people to commit to when it comes to bettering themselves, and including for myself. Like this was so hard for me, and it does not matter how strong-minded you are, the people who you are around mirror who you are. They create the image that you are when you surround yourself with these people. If you surround yourself with fuckwits, no matter how hard you try, you will inevitably have some sort of micro expression of you being a fuckwit to other people. And if you surround yourself with overweight people compared to yourself being with really healthy people, you will end up gaining weight because you surround yourself in that environment. It's the same thing when you go with and surround yourself with healthy people. Like if they go for runs and they go to the gym like every other day and you're constantly hanging out with them, eventually you will get sucked into going for a run or going to the gym or doing a steam room or sauna session with them or doing some sort of healthy habit, because that's your social group, that's your environment that you're with. And all of that is good if you hang out with healthy people, but if they don't truly enjoy your company and you don't enjoy their company, or they don't want to see you succeed, there is literally zero use being around them, because they will bring you down so quickly. It is not even funny. Because when you love and appreciate someone and you enjoy their company so much and you express that to them, however you do, when you go through that moment and they don't respect it back, it will knock you down like a sack of potatoes. It will bring down your mood, it will bring down your motivation, and it's just like a domino effect. You hang out with that one person and then you ask them to catch up one time and they say, oh, nah, sorry, I'm busy. And you still go and do that. Say you go for coffee. Say you ask them to go to coffee and they say, oh, nah, I can't be bothered. And then you're driving to the cafe that you were going to ask them to go to, and you go either way and you see them out and about with other people. That will bring you down so quick. That will make you want to stop going out. It'll make you want to stop exercising. It will make you stop eating well. You'll have the worst mental burden by far. So when you don't surround yourself with a good environment of people who want to see you succeed, it will crash you down like a fucking brick. I think you're better off hanging out with people who have horrible habits, who care about you and want to see you succeed and help you, compared to hanging around with people who do healthy habits and do well for themselves, but they bring you down every single day. Mentally, it's the worst thing for you. So it's so important to have people around you, and that's why I think it is the most respectful thing for you to do, to cut those kind of people off. It's so much more respectful and so much more ballsy, and like you will develop so much as a person for doing it. But by just literally saying like, look, mate, I actually just can't hang out with you. Like, you are the biggest burden on me and it affects me so much. And then you just leave it. You don't have to respond to them. You've told them your reasons. You've told them why you feel this way. And if they don't change, then leave them in the dust. It means nothing. It's only going to bring you down even further and it won't help you. Next, for your self-development, I would say this in social, like the last 10% of what goes into it. And it's probably the most important part. All this information is good and all, but if you aren't able to build your own independence and your own discipline, then it's basically a waste of time, because you need to be able to do the majority of these things by yourself. Strong-minded people never cruise through life on easy mode. It's like you never meet a really tough war veteran that isn't traumatized. So that's saying hard times create hard men create soft times create soft men create hard times. It can be the hardest thing to let people go in your life, but it's the most respectful thing to do for you and for them. So if you had to, sounds weird, but create a person and you wanted them to be tough, you wouldn't give them $1 million and make their life as easy as possible, right? You would put them through mental burden, mental struggles. You'd make them do physically hard things. You would make them go through tough times to be better. And so if you're not able to go through hard things and keep going through with your own journey, then most of this is going to be irrelevant for you, because it is hard. And I personally think that your mentality towards your overall health is probably the most important thing by far. Because like I said, if you aren't able to do these things on your own, it's never probably going to work. Because like I said before, in your social environment, it doesn't matter how strong-minded you can be, you will fall into their traps of their bad habits. If they are going out so like a lot throughout the week, and I'm saying like 2 times, 3 times per week, and smoking every other day and not doing anything with themselves, and you want to go through this journey of actually making a name for yourself and trying to be better and do different things, you will eventually fall into their trap. And then lastly, last segment of this episode is to do different things. And what I mean is, like, with experiences comes wisdom. Like, a lot of the time, like all old people who give out the most advice have been through those situations. They don't give advice on an accountant won't teach you about the anatomy of the body. and a physiotherapist won't teach you how to do your taxes. You have to go through things to be able to experience it and be able to express it and learn from your mistakes or your successes and know how those things work. You need to be independent to go through these things, right? So the best way to do it for me is do things on your own. Go to the gym on your own, grab a coffee on your own, go for a walk by yourself. Start a job where you don't know anyone that works there. Or try and become friendly with the person who takes your coffee order. A lot of the time, people become so comfortable with doing things with others and they lose their ability to be by themselves. This happens a lot in like really intimate relationships. So people, like their partners, the guy or girl becomes so used to doing everything with their partner that when it comes to doing that task or that chore or going to do something by themselves, they delay it or they just don't do it at all. And I think that can be really harmful for people because they completely lose their independence. Because when the common case is that they break up with that person, they rot in their house and in their bed and they don't do anything. They don't go out, they don't try to better themselves. And that becomes a burden on you. And you literally do it to yourself. So I guess the best way to do different things and experience different things is say no and say yes more often. And that's a bit of a confusing thing to do or say, but prioritize what is more important for you. So if you think you're going out too much and your mates ask you, oh, do you want to go out this weekend? Just say you don't want to. Like if you think you're going out too much, just say, oh, I've been going out too much. I really don't want to go out this weekend. You need to figure out what needs to take your priority. So is it staying home to work on this project that you've been working on for the past couple of months, or to go out and drink with your mates? Or is it to catch up with your mates that you haven't seen in 3 to 4 months for a beer, or stay home and watch a movie that you've been wanting to watch this entire week? You just have to think, like, how often will I be able to do this? I can go out any weekend, but this project might not come about every month or every other week or even every year. And I won't be able to catch up with this bloke that I've known for years this weekend for like the next 3 to 4 months again, but I can watch this movie whenever I want to. You need to learn what should be taking priority. That's the really big lesson from this. With self-development, I think the whole broader picture is having respect for yourself. Having respect for yourself to maybe decide, fuck it, I don't want to drink for the next 2 months. I really want to better myself and be good. Or fuck, I should be saying yes to going out and socializing more. I've realized that throughout year 12, I said yes so much more to going out because the occasions were there was a lot of 18s. I had 18s maybe every other week on average. And the year before that, in year 11, I would literally never really go out. My mates would ask me if I want to go out. I'd be like, nah, I just don't feel like it. And maybe that was me being so overly focused on footy, despite it not being a huge career path for me for some reason. I'd be so focused on it, but it wasn't going to be that important later in my life financially. And so I should have prioritized going out more. I should have socialized more often. I should have gone out with my mates more often. And that's now a mistake that I've gone through and I've learnt. And so now I know I have to enjoy my younger years. I have to go out and experience more stuff and do more social things, make more mistakes, do more stupid shit, because I think I didn't waste, but I didn't take the opportunity to do that a couple years after. I don't have as many funny as memories of going out when I was underage and doing fun shit like that. But then when I'm 20, 21, 22 even, I know now that I will probably prioritize making money more often than going out every single week. And again, that's the respect thing for myself. I respect myself to go to the gym, to play footy, to exercise, to eat well, really, really, really often. And then having the awareness that, okay, maybe I need to fucking go to Yochi and have a sweet treat, or maybe I just need to go out and have a beer this weekend because I haven't seen my mates in a couple of weeks, or I haven't drank with them in a couple of weeks. It's all about going through life and accepting your mistakes, your successes, and learning from it and bettering yourself. And that'll bring us to the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys got a fair bit from this and can take some of this information on board and some of my learnings on board, and hopefully better yourselves. And I hope this reaches a fair few people and you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did yapping about it. This is probably my longest episode that I've done since the episode with Glenn Manton. And so, yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next week.